make sounds of voices from a very young age. I don't think that salivatic is an actual word. I've never looked it up in any dictionary, but I've attributed it to a very particular sound that gives me those wonderful head tingles that we all love so much. I'm gonna start off rather by telling you all a story, and maybe you'll have similar stories since we're all in the same boat here in terms of the sounds that we like, with a few varieties mixed in, but basically we all like the whispers and the soft voices. When I was in elementary school, there was a girl named, we'll just call her D. I don't wanna point anyone out against their own volition on the internet, so we will call her D. And D and I were not really friends. We weren't enemies either, but she was a very shy girl and an acquaintance and classmate of mine. I remember being in probably 2nd or 3rd grade and be reading some book aloud, and each child would take a turn reading a paragraph or something such, and I remember that somewhere around either 2nd or 3rd grade, I made a point of sitting directly in front of D as my assigned seat, and I didn't realize why at the time, but I noticed after a while that every time it came around to D reading aloud, she had this wonderful soft voice where you could hear the crackle and moistness behind her teeth and on her tongue, and it was very soothing. And I remember even at that young age getting those awesome tingles running across my scalp. So I guess I've always kind of been an audiophile. I've tried to explain this to people throughout my past, and using the term audiophile tends to confuse them. I'm sure that some of you who have tried to explain it to others have run across the same problem. Now, I am an audiophile in the traditional sense as well, that I love music and I have a variety to my tastes. I know that sounds pretty general. Everybody says, oh, I love all kinds of music, although you get the occasional except for rap and country. But no, I really do love all kinds of music, and we'll talk about that at some point if this works out, but I digress. So I would tell people I was an audiophile, and they'd say, oh, you like music? And I would say, yes, but I mean more like I feel very stimulated by sound. soft sketching sound of graphite on paper. And the list goes on, and of course I can get into the naughtier things and how sound is a big stimulus in my adult entertainment life. But I'm not going to get into that here because I would like to keep this not age restricted and open to the entire Whisper community. Now, speaking of graphite on paper and all sorts of sounds that stimulate me, I suppose I should put out a few, thank yous, as well as sources of inspiration for me really breaking into this community, or attempting to. There are just some astounding whispers on YouTube, and I keep going back to them, and I have playlists on alternate accounts where I listen to them, and they just are incredible, so I should give some shout-outs. First, I have to mention WhisperCrystal, and she was one of the very first whispers I got into on YouTube, and she continually remains my favorite female whisperer on YouTube, although there are others. I think she is extremely talented, and not just in the inherent way of being blessed with the right voice, or what have you, or even the fact that she speaks a foreign language like Turkish, which is so absolutely soothing to me, but also the role-playing that she's done. I love her Land of Love video and her sketching class video, and I think that she really pushes the limits in terms of how we can adopt whispering and turn it into really a performance art, and a therapeutic one at that. She is very, very gifted, and I keep coming back to check out her latest videos. And she is also one of the very few, perhaps the only, continuous whisperer I can also listen to her softly spoken videos as well, and be equally soothed by them. I will say she is also, I'll just keep on stroking WhisperCrystal's ego here. Her eagle, yes, her ego. Although I don't think she really has one, she is a very kind and selfless person, from what I gather. I have always started my sleeping playlist with her Snow Queen in Turkish. I enjoy listening to a lot of whisper videos in foreign languages, as they are less distracting, as I'm sure a lot of you have also surmised. I think Turkish is gorgeous, and there is a particular softness to the whisper that Crystal does for her reading of the Snow Queen. It's just beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna move on past Crystal. Even though if for some strange reason you have found my video and you have not bad, but I'm pretty sure it's Relaxing Whispers. He's Norwegian. Or is it? Yes, Norwegian. I'm sorry. This is horrible. I should really remember the difference between Norwegian and Finnish and Swedish and such. I am from the upper Midwest of the United States. You can probably even tell that through my whisper that I have a somewhat northern accent. Northern Minnesotan. I was born in northern Minnesota and lived in Minneapolis for many, many years. And those of you who are from our global community may not know this, but the area is predominantly ethnically German and Scandinavian. So, yeah. I'm very sorry if I'm getting that wrong. Oh, is it Soothing Whispers? Oh, shoot, I'm gonna feel so bad if I got wrong. I think it's Soothing Whispers. Someone will correct me, and I'm sure you'll all correct me if you write comments, but, I'm gonna go look it up right after I'm done recording, and then, probably post on his page and apologize profusely for screwing up my shout out to him. Anyway, I like him. I also enjoy the Whispering Voice on a regular basis. Some of his outdoor videos are difficult for me. The sounds of nature I love in my waking life, but when I want to sleep, it doesn't really work so well. But sometimes the crackling of him cooking out in the woods is nice, and his voice is always wonderful. I have a bit of a weakness for Welsh accents, although I've never been able to tell the difference between the North Wales and the South Wales, even when I followed the Whispering Voice's recommendation to check out another Welsh whisperer whose name I have sadly forgotten. What do you expect? I can't remember one of my regular channels names, but anyway. So I love the Whispering Voice, and I think that his ideologies and his livelihood, I don't know if livelihood is right, but his lifestyle, excuse me, his lifestyle is commendable, and his approach to life as being minimalist in order to achieve happiness is something that I respect and I strive towards, although it's difficult. Sadly, I think it is because I am an American. It can be very difficult. And then lastly, I wanted to mention another wonderful member of the Whisper community who I think a lot of you out there, listeners and whisperers alike, are wondering if he's going to stay the course because he tends to disappear and he leaves cryptic hints at him never coming back in his whispers, which is unfortunate because he is very gifted. And of course I am speaking of CrisperWhisper, and he has, and this is no shot to his levels of machismo or anything, but he has a wonderful, soft male whisper that I just think is absolutely unrivaled and very, very salivatic. I know he gets occasional flack from commenters about you should take the chewing gum out of your mouth, but I don't believe that he has any in his mouth. He just has one those voices, and for someone like me, I can really, really appreciate its quality. And he has put me to sleep many, many times in the best way possible. I also love, like, in particular, I enjoyed his reading from I Am America and So Can You by Stephen Colbert. I listened to it again a couple days ago with all of this media coverage of Colbert and his campaign in South Carolina. I thought it would be fun to go back and reflect upon those sage words he put down in a book. And also, yes, I have made it through all hour and a half of his Rift coverage because I am also a Rift player, or I was before my computer decided to poop out, which I will not talk about today. I could always talk about that another day. Don't need to talk about it all in one go. Anyway, yes, I do hope that CrisperWhisper has not made a final departure, but I also believe deep down that that's pretty unlikely. I can see how this can become very addicting, not only the listening part, but the whispering as well. So, on that note, because I'm coming near the 20-minute mark, and that's pretty long for a first whisper, I think. I do want to thank you all for listening. Please let me know in comments if you think I should continue or not. If there are any technical issues, like if I need a pop filter or anything. I did some tests and I thought it sounded okay. Just may take some more training to keep from popping. And also share with me any questions you might have about me that might spur some topics in future whispers, if there's an interest. So,